Hi there, welcome to live stream Yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today we're tightening and toning the whole body for a leaner, sleeker you. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify if need be, and feel comfortable to rest as often as you need to. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to set up for today's class standing towards the top end of the mat with enough room to step back when you need to. I want you to find a comfortable samasthiti, standing with your feet maybe hip width distance apart, maybe just a little bit wider, all 10 toes looking to the front of the mat, and just drop the arms long and heavy at your side. Take a couple of relaxed breaths here. And then move your hands into prayer mudra when you're ready, and we'll begin with a little bit of breath work, ujjayi breath, ocean breath. You're going to be inhaling and exhaling through the nose, and you're going to try and make an audible sound on both the inhale and the exhale by slightly constricting your larynx so that it sounds like you're sucking air through a straw. If you need a visual cue, think of making or mimicking the sound of soft ocean waves, or maybe even the sound of Darth Vader. Maybe close your eyes, take your focus in. Give me a few more rounds of ujjayi breath, and remember this breath pattern when we're playing on the mat today. We're going to try to apply it as we move from one pose to the next, keeping our breath long and languid. If your eyes were closed, slowly flutter open your eyes and start bringing your focus back into the room. We'll kick off with a few rounds of sun salutation, trying to look for opportunities to apply our ujjayi breath. Take a big breath in to prepare and float your hands overhead, bumping your hips forward and taking a little back bend. On the exhale, fold forward, bending the knees if you need to connect your hands to the mat. Step your right leg back and your left leg back into plank palakasana. You're going to drop your knees to the mat, relax your feet. Work a modified chaturanga by bending your elbows slowly, hugging them in towards your ribs and bringing your belly down to the mat. Then peel up into a little cobra line, starting to arc through the spine and lift the chest, stopping just before your bottom rib disconnects from the mat. Stay here or work the next progression by pushing onto your palms and the tops of your feet, strung through the belly as you find an up dog. Then morph into a down dog by piking your bum up to the ceiling, bending one knee at a time, taking your dog for a little pedaling walk, keeping your knees tracking forward. Step up the right leg and then the left, trying to stack underneath your hips, ragdoll style, restack and realign your body to coming back to mountain, hands to heart center. Big breath in. Use your ujjayi breath. Exhale as you come forward. Step back your left leg and then your right. Find your plank. Relax your knees, your shins and your feet. Bend your elbows, come down slow and with controlled. Then morph into cobra, lifting your chest off the mat, using your back extenders. Push into your palms, push into the tops of your feet. Find your plank, morph it into an up dog, and then transition into your walking down dog. Starting to wake up the back chain of the legs, starting to stretch and lengthen through the body. Step up the left leg and then the right. Restack, realign your body. Think knees over ankles, hips over knees, shoulders over hips as you come to mountain Tadasana. Big breath in, take your back bend. Exhale to fold forward. Use your Ujjayi breath. Step the right leg and then the left leg back. Find your plank. Palakasana, sometimes called Kumbhakasana. Relax your knees, your feet and your shins. Chaturanga down with control. Find your Cobra, Bhujangasana. Morph into your up dog, Urdhva Mukha, Svanasana. Then bleed seamlessly into your down dog, Adho Mukha, Svanasana. Maybe this time trying to hold the stretch. Try to look for a little bit more length up the back chain of the legs and into the arms. Step up the right leg and then the left. Restack, realign, find your way back to Tadasana. Big breath in, find your back bend. Exhale to fold forward into Uttanasana. Step back your left and then your right. Find your plank. Relax your knees, your shins and your feet. Bend the elbows, hug them in towards the ribs as you bleed your way from Cobra into Up Dog and then into your Down Dog. Try to hold the stretch, look for that length in the body. Step up the left leg and then the right. Restack, realign. Let's do one more round of Sunday. Big breath in, find your back bend. Exhale to fold forward. Try to lengthen the legs as you fold it forward. Ease your way from here into plank. Drop the knees or work a full chaturanga this time. As you come down onto the belly, slide your weight forward, set up your up dog, and then transition into your down dog hold. Look for that length through the limbs. Step up the right leg and then the left. Restack, realign your body. Hands to heart center. Last time on the left. Find your back bend. Exhale to fold forward. Look for that lengthening up the back of your legs. Step back left and then right. Set up your plank. Use your knees or give me a full chaturanga dandasana. Coming down with control. Sliding the weight forward over your wrists and your feet to come straight into the up dog before transitioning into your down dog. Look for that length as you hold your down dog frame. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Step up the left leg and then the right. Restack, realign your body. Find your way to Tadasana. From mountain, we're going to step back into a 4-point kneeling frame. You can soften through the knees if you need to as you fold forward gently, looking for that length up the spine as you connect your hands to the mat, maybe gently rocking your weight back and forth. Maybe you need to put a block underneath your hands. Maybe you're comfortable with your hands on your shins or the top of your thighs. Look for that length, create it. Stretching not only the back chain of the legs, but delicious stretch into the spine. Then step back one leg at a time and set yourself up in a 4-point kneeling frame. Make sure that your hands are stacking underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips, as we run through cat-cow Chakrabakasana. Inhale to prepare, thinking of making a concave through your back as you find the cow frame. Taking your chin and your tailbone to the ceiling. And then exhale to come through neutral spine, rounding out, changing the shape, hollowing out your belly this time. And then start to find a flow between the two. Inhaling for the cow, exhaling for the cat. Maybe playing at a 1 to 2 today. Inhalation to exhalation ratio. And as you round out, use your bandhas, your locks. Pull up the pelvic floor, squeeze in the diaphragm, apply the chin lock. And then when you're ready to release the cat shape, Release first the chin lock, then the diaphragm lock, then the pelvic floor lock. Use your Ujjayi breath. Look for opportunities on the mat today to apply the breath pattern that you began today's class with. End in a neutral tabletop line somewhere between your cat and your cow. We're going to find our way back to down dog. Tuck your toes under, back your bum up to the ceiling nice and high, and hold your down dog stretch, looking for that length through the arms and the legs. Piking your bum up as high as you can. Then looking for that sense of length, float the right leg up, maybe giving me a soft point to the toe as you find three-legged dog. You're going to give me a little step through lunge line. So you're going to think of stepping the right leg forward between the hands, as close to the right hand as you can. And if that leg gets stuck on the mat, just do a manual adjustment. Find a high lunge line with your toes tucked under. As you peel the torso up, try not to lean your weight forward. Give me a little push back into the back heel, weight distribution equal, and see if you can bring your hands to prayer in front of your heart. If your balance is a little bit off today, maybe relax the back knee to the floor and just assist your pose. Find a beautiful high lunge line, Sursangustasana. And then keeping your hands in prayer, let's take a soft rotational twist towards your lead leg, trying to hook the left elbow on the outside of that lead knee. Keep your hands in prayer. Keep giving me weight into that back heel. Stay here in your lunge line or bring yourself into a little balancing challenge, a twisted half moon. Unbind your hands and place your left hand on the mat in front of you, maybe just in front of your right foot. Launch the weight off your back leg, coming into a little tabletop line and kicking up that back leg behind you as you think of maybe forging a T-frame through the arms. Then rotate your hands in the opposite direction by placing your right hand on the floor, starting to softly rotate through the body, almost as if you were trying to stack the left hip on top of the right. Then bend the lead leg and take a big step back. Think warrior two. So open up that back leg to 90, placing your right hand on the inside of the right leg. If your hand doesn't reach the floor, you could maybe use your elbow to find purchase on your lead thigh, or you could use a block, playing with the dimensions of the block and placing it on the inside of your right foot. Find your side angle. And then let's start to get a little bit creative. If you feel like coming into a bind, soften your whole bottom arm and shoulder, trying to tuck as much of the arm through, wrapping the arm around your bum, and then trying to bring both hands behind your back and bind them together in a little bear grip, pulling up with one hand and tugging down with the other. Try to drop your center of gravity as low to the mat as you can. And then keeping this bind, we're going to try to come into a little hamstring stretch from here. You're going to start rotating on the back foot, drop the knee to the floor, relax the foot, or you can keep the toe tucked under. Start bumping your hips back, taking a little stretch, trying to keep the bind if you can. If you're not in the bind, you can just drop both hands to the floor, either side of the lead leg. So keeping that bind nice and low. You're going to extend the lead leg. At first, keep all 5 toes on the mat, and then peel the toes off the mat and lean your weight slightly back. Hold. Peel back up, unbind, place your hands on the floor and set up a little lizard line on the mat. Open up the front foot, splaying it softly out at 45, leaning the weight forward as if you were trying to hook your chin over the edge of your mat. Stay here or knife edge the front foot. Take your right palm and push the right knee away from you, looking over the back shoulder towards the back edge of your mat. Give yourself a few gentle breaths here. Find your way back to your side angle, either opening up into T or coming back into that bind, dropping as low as you can. See if you can come into that little monkey guard or hamstring stretch by tucking the back toes under, dropping to the knee, bumping the weight back. Think of coming back into your lizard, and this time keeping the right arm underneath the right leg. Just splay the arms softly to the side of the room, knife edge your front foot and try to drop your torso as low as you can to the mat. Almost as if you were taking a reverent bow as you find crawling lizard. Take a few gentle breaths here. Then slide or creep your hands back so that they're lined up underneath your shoulders. Tuck the back toe under, bring the knee up off the floor. You're going to set up a pigeon line on the right. Retuck your right leg so that it's on the inside of your hands. Drop the lead leg to the floor. Relax the back, knee, shin, and foot. Slide, walk, or creep your back leg away and come into a high pigeon line. Maybe just gently rocking the body weight back and forth and looking for a sense of evenness through the shoulders and the hips. If you find that you're collapsing onto the right bum, I would suggest just using a block, taking the block and maybe using the knife edge portion of the block, tucking it just where your bum crease is on the right, and using it as a little prop to support your high pigeon frame. If your balance feels good here, start thinking of pulling on an imaginary zip on the inseam of your legs. Start just above your knee line, draw all the way along the inseam of the legs, and then from your pelvic floor towards your belly button, using that activation of muscle to hold a high pigeon line and bring your hands to prayer in front of your heart. If this feels good, see if you can maybe float your back foot off the mat, maybe reach for that foot, same hand on the same side, and maybe just extend your front arm forward, maybe reaching tall with your fingertips, or maybe coming into a little mudra, maybe bringing your thumb and your index finger together as you find a little gyun mudra. Then unbind. If you do have a block underneath your bum, feed that block out now as you drop the weight onto that bum cheek. Swing the back leg around and then think of hugging that foot in towards your chest. You can maybe bind one hand around your foot, one hand around your knee as you gently rock your baby. If this is not enough of a bind for you, you can try to give me a little crook with your right elbow. Tuck the foot into the crook of your hand, maybe interlacing your hands, hugging your baby. Soften the back as much as you need to as you find Hindulasana, rock the baby. We're going to use this frame to set up a half Lord of the Fishes. Try to notice what you're doing with your bottom foot. Try to tuck that heel in as close towards your bum as you can. You're going to step the left foot over the right knee, readjusting your bottom foot so that you've got space for both of your bum bones on the mat. And then twist towards your top leg, maybe just grabbing hold of that thigh and hugging it into your body. Or you could maybe hook your elbow to the outside of the knee, maybe making a little stop sign with your hand. or maybe lengthening that top arm even more, looking for that long, sleek look through the body as you point your fingertips towards the edge of the mat. Use the other hand to just find a nice prop frame on the mat so that you can support your back and give yourselves the leanest, longest spine that you can comfortably manage. Hold Ardha Matsyendrasana, half Lord of the Fishes. Give yourself a couple of gentle breaths here. Then untwist your trunk and look to the front of the mat, maybe just placing your fingertips on the mat. Extend the left leg on the mat in front of you. Keep the right leg bent, but place the sole of the foot on the inseam of the left leg. Then bring that knee up towards the ceiling and twist towards that knee, hugging that knee in towards your chest, giving yourself the longest spine that you can manage and lengthening through your left leg, bracing actively into the foot as if you were trying to kick the wall away from you. Give yourself the longest spine that you can comfortably manage. Then keeping the Mariachiyasana leg line, twist in the opposite direction and try to hook your right elbow or tricep on the inside of your knee, actively pushing with the hand against the knee while squeezing the knee in towards the midline of the body. Stay here, or maybe you'd like to try to come to a little bind by rotating the arm, wrapping it around your leg, and seeing if you can bring both hands behind your back, wrapping around the outside of your bent leg to find a little bind. If the two hands don't come near to each other, you could maybe use a strap or maybe a hand towel to forge a connection between your two fisted hands. Hold your little Mariachiyasana twist. And then when you're ready, we're going to think of running through that sequencing on the opposite side. Unbind, sweep the legs underneath you, find your way to 4-point kneeling on the mat. And when you're ready, begin cat-cow. Inhaling to prepare, exhaling to round out. Try to use that Ujjayi breath. And don't be afraid to look for opportunities on the mat today to apply your breathing pattern, your Ujjayi breath. Stop somewhere between your cat and your cow and get ready for down dog by tucking your toes under. Nice inhale to prepare, nice Ujjayi exhalation as you find your way to your down dog frame. Settle in, lengthen through the arms, lengthen through the legs. Take a few soft Ujjayi inhalations and exhalations here. Then set up a 3-legged dog on the left by bending the left knee. Let's give ourselves a soft toe line as we kick back. And then give me a big lunge step forward. So think knee to nose, trying to swing that leg forward to the inside of the left hand. Check that you've got knee over ankle and try to frame yourself on either side with your arms. You're coming into a high lunge line. So remember, don't lean forward. Pull the weight back. If you need to, relax onto the back knee. Ease your way into a high lunge line, bringing your hands to prayer in front of your heart. Keep pushing back into that back heel. If you need to, relax onto the back knee. Trying to keep that prayer position, we're going to twist towards the lead leg and you're going to hook opposite elbow on the outside of that knee, keeping your hands sandwiched in prayer. Try to even out the weight distribution on the legs. Stay here or find your twisting half moon balance. Place your right fingertips on the floor in front of your right leg. Use your back toe. So launch off, use your back toe if you need to. And then when you're ready, think of floating that leg up into a tabletop line and just think soft T-frame through the arms. Stay here in your twisted half moon, or try the rotation in the opposite direction. So more of a little stack on the hips as you open up and try to stack the right hip on top of the left. Stay here for a few balancing breaths, thinking of the lengthening through that top arm. We're going to set up a side angle from here. Bend the lead leg and take a big warrior two-like step towards the back of your mat. Place the left arm on the inside of the left leg, using it as a little splint. You can use your block if you need to, or you could maybe just find an elbow lean into the lean leg. If this feels good, maybe drop the hips a little bit lower to the floor, soften your whole bottom arm, feed it through, wrap around, and see if you can bring the hands to a little bind behind your back. Stay here. We're going to find our way into our first hamstring stretch. If you need to, unbind the hands and place them either side of the lead leg. Otherwise, try to keep the bind. Tuck the back toe under, relax the knee to the floor. Then bump your weight back as if you were taking a bow. Try to keep all 5 toes on the mat at first. Then maybe extend, peel the toes off the mat. Just dropping that bottom shoulder as low as you can to the mat. So a nice little opening through the shoulder. Unbind your hands. Place them underneath your shoulders and allow the front foot to slightly splay out as you come to a little lizard lunge. You can either keep your back toes tucked under, or you can relax the foot to the floor. Just lean forward. Think of hooking your chin over the edge of your mat. And then start rotating towards your lead leg. Use your left hand to push the knee away, maybe knife edging that front foot and just holding your little lizard opening stretch. Give yourself a few breaths here. And then think of coming back into your side angle. Tuck the back toe under. Square up your front foot. Then warrior two on the leg line. Open up your arms into T, or come back into the bind by dropping your hips lower to the floor, relaxing your bottom arm, trying to wrap the arms between the two legs and finding a little bear grip bind behind your back. We're going to ease our way from here into our little hamstring stretch. Keep the bind if you can. Start rotating on the back foot. Relax the back knee and maybe whole foot. Start bumping your hips back, trying to drop your shoulders low to the floor. From here, we're going to bleed into our little crawling lizard. You're going to think of keeping the hands tucked underneath your legs as you find a little lizard line on the lead leg. So you're knife edging the foot, try and feed the hands through, and just make your whole chest heavy to the floor. Give yourself a few gentle breaths here. Crawling lizard. Then wiggle your arms back into your lizard line. Stack your hands underneath your shoulders. We're going to find our way into a pigeon. Tuck your back toe under, bring the knee up off the floor. Readjust your front leg. Bend it so that it's on the inside of the hands. Find the angle on the lead leg that works for you. Make sure your knee is in line with your hip or slightly wider as you relax both the lead leg and the back leg to the floor. Slide, walk, or creep your back leg away and then wiggle your weight back and forth. And look for a sense of evenness through the shoulders and the hips. You need to use your inner thighs and your core to keep that high pigeon line. If you find your line is collapsing, just take your block, wedge it underneath your bum crease on the left. Pull up on those inner thighs, pull up from the pelvic floor. See if you can maintain your high pigeon line, bringing your hands to prayer in front of your heart. Keep using those inner thighs. See if you can float your back foot off the mat. On the same side, same hand to foot, reach for the inside of your foot, and maybe extend the other arm to reach for the wall in front of you, or maybe bring it into a little yun by bringing your index finger and your thumb together and just reaching along with the other 3 fingers. Hold. Give yourself a couple of gentle breaths here. When you're ready to transition, you're going to think of setting yourself up in Rock the Baby Hindulasana. Maybe use your front fingertips for support. Relax the back leg. Lean into your left bum. Swing the back leg around, making a little crook maybe with the left arm, or maybe just holding onto the foot and the knee as you find a Rock the Baby. Or maybe tucking that foot right into the crook of your elbow, wrapping the hands around the whole shin bone, maybe interlacing, making a little basket for your baby, and then rocking it. You're going to use this frame to set up your half lord, your seated twist. Step your right foot to the outside of the left knee. Try to ground through the whole foot. Wiggle your bottom foot out the way so that you've got space for your bum, and twist towards your lead knee. Maybe just cupping that whole thigh in towards your chest, or maybe hooking the elbow to the outside of the knee and making a little stop sign. Or maybe you'd like to look for additional length in the body and try to reach that arm long as if you were trying to reach past the edge or the corner of your mat. Give yourself a few gentle breaths here before finding your way into Mariachi Asana. Untwist your trunk, maybe placing both sets of fingertips on the floor behind your hips, and extend the right leg out. Keep the left leg bent. Drop the sole of the foot to the inseam of the floor on the inside of your right leg, and then twist towards that knee and just hug it in towards your chest. Keep your supported leg nice and long. Look for length in the body today. We want that sleek, toned silhouette. And then let's try the twist in the opposite direction. So twisting to the right this time, trying to hook your elbow or your tricep on the inside of the knee, actively pushing with the arm and then resisting with the knee as you come into the twist. Stay here, or maybe you'd like to come into a little bind, wrapping that left arm around your bent leg, trying to bring both hands behind your back in a little bear grip, sitting up as tall as you can. And remember to always just play where you're comfortable. So if coming into the bind is not your jam today, then just omit it. Give yourself a few relaxed breaths here. Then unbind both legs, give them a little shake out in front of you. We're going to come into some spinal rolls from here. And let's just start by softening the feet, but give yourself a little bit of distance between the heels and the bum. You're going to cut behind your thighs and you're going to rock the body back and forth, just finding a soft rolling-like motion. If this feels good, start softly extending the legs every time you fold forward, and then maybe coming into a soft preparation for a plow by softening the knees, but thinking of drawing them over your head. If this feels good, start extending both on the forward fold as you sit up and on the little plow line, maybe tapping the toes to the mat behind you. Just moving dynamically between the two, lengthening and stretching through the spine. We'll do one more, maybe holding a plow line this time, with the legs parallel to the mat. If that feels good, you could even morph into a shoulder stand, pushing off your elbow points and your forearms while floating the legs up to the sky, supporting your lower back. Ease your way back into your plow. Drop your hands to the mat. Peel back as slowly as you can, reconnecting your spine to the mat. And as soon as your spine is connected to the mat, we're going to bring it into a little bridge line. Bend the knees, connect the soles of the feet, and we'll play up the bridge line today. Keep your feet and your knees hip-width distance apart, beginning neutral spine. Tilt your pelvis to the 12 o'clock position. Start imprinting your lower back. Start peeling your bum off the mat, coming up nice and high into the bridge. Either keep your hands on the mat or interlace both hands behind your back, trying to tuck the two shoulder blades in as close as you can, almost pushing off your fisted hands. Try to transfer all the weight into your left foot and float the right leg up to the ceiling, bracing actively into the foot. Lower and lift the right leg. Drop that right leg down until both knees are alongside each other and then kick back up. Maybe just shooting for 5 repetitions if you can manage it. And then change sides. Transferring all the weight to your right leg, float the left leg up to the ceiling as you lift and lower on the left side. Then ease your way back into your bridge line. Unbind the hands, make space between the two shoulder blades and peel back down, one vertebra at a time. Find your way back into neutral. Maybe hug the knees in towards your chest, bracing around your shins to gently cradle rock your lower back out, side to side. We're going to come into a little stretch sequence from here, and you might need a strap or a hand towel for this one. Drop the soles of your feet to the mat. Make sure you've got enough room to extend your right leg out to the side of the room. Take a big breath in. Think knee to nose on the right. Maybe just extending that leg up to the ceiling, maybe binding around the outside of your thigh, or taking a strap, looping it around your foot, holding onto the strap, or using your middle index finger and thumb to give me a big toe lock on that right big toe. Extend the right leg as best you can and just place the left hand, maybe T-frame it on the mat, palm up or down, whichever feels the most intuitive for you right now. Take a few gentle breaths here. If this feels good, see if you can start extending your supportive leg and brace actively into the foot as if you were kicking the wall away from yourself. Little subtle change on this A-line stretch. Keep your current bind and just start drawing the big toe across your nose line. Just stopping when you feel a little electric shock running along the outside of your right leg. Stretching that ITB band. Hold here for a few breaths if you can. And then we'll open up from here into a beeline stretch, opening that leg all the way as far as you can to the right while you look to the left, and focus on keeping your left shoulder and your left bum cheek connected to the mat. Give yourself a few gentle breaths here. Looking for as much length through the body as you can. Inhale and peel yourself back to center, and then do a change of hands. You're going to drop the leg as far as you can to the left while you look to the right. As the foot comes across the midline of the body, if you need to, you can bend your supported leg, bump the hips underneath you so that you can get more rotation on the top hip and stack it right over the bottom hip as you come into a C twist. If this is too much for you, maybe just bend the top leg, maybe reach around your knee and hold the twist like so. Play where you're comfortable, giving yourself a few gentle breaths in your C twist, trying to make your right shoulder blade nice and heavy into the mat while keeping your belly button softly pulled in to center. Bend the top leg. Find your way back to center, re-bumping the hips into neutral. Then bring your hands to prayer, drop them overhead, and start dragging your big toes along the mat, reaching along through your toes and your prayer fingertips from a neutral spine position. Just stretch the body as best you can. Then opening up the arms into parallel, rotating your hands so that your palms are looking away from you. Then bring the back of the hands towards each other and clip the two palms together so that you can push into the two palms actively while reaching along through your toes and your fingertips. Then unbind your hands and come into a soft starfish shavasana. Think of just softening and relaxing through your limbs. Maybe using a few soft ujjayi breath cycles here. Then let's set up that little stretch sequence on side 2. Bend the knees, connect the soles of the feet to the mat. Find your A-line stretch on the left. Either just kicking that leg up to the ceiling and binding around your thigh, using a strap around your foot, or finding your big toe lock. Hold your A-line stretch, T-shape your supportive hand, and just take a few soft ujjayi breaths here. When you're ready, maybe softly extending your supported leg and bracing actively into the foot. Keep that ujjayi breath pattern softly flowing the whole time. And then let's activate that ITB by just thinking of drawing the toe across the midline and stopping when you feel that engagement. When you're ready, open all the way into the B-line stretch, opening up the leg as far as you can to the left while you look with your head in the opposite direction. Trying to keep your body anchored on the right shoulder and the right bum. Take a few soft ujjayi breaths here. Then maybe coming into a C twist by bringing the leg back to the A-line stretch, changing hands. You're going to draw that leg over, maybe bending the bottom leg as it crosses over, bumping the hips underneath you before extending both legs. Or maybe you'd like to bend the top leg if the twist is too much, and maybe just place your fingertips on the outside of the knee and gently coax that knee down. Play where you're comfortable. Try to keep your left shoulder blade as anchored into the mat as you can manage, and give yourself a few soft ujjayi exhalations here. Then bending the top leg, bumping your hips back into neutral, maybe hugging both knees in towards the chest as you come onto the back, and gently cradle rocking the lower back out. Bring your hands to prayer overhead. Tap the two big toes to the mat. Softly begin extending your legs. Keep them soft as they extend. Reach through your fingertips and your toes. Either stay here or change your hand setup. Open up your arms into parallel and rotate, palms looking away from the center line. Start bringing the back of your hands towards each other and then clip your two palms into one another, pushing actively into this modified prayer as you reach along through the tips of your toes and your fingertips. Think of framing your ears on either side. Hold a neutral spine position. Make your body as long as you can. Make your belly as flat as you can. And then softly unclip the hands. Think of giving me a soft, almost starfish-like Shavasana. Keep your body long, but just softly draped on the mat. Use a nice soft Ujjayi breath pattern to relax, soften, and release your body. Think of gentle rolling ocean waves as you try to mimic that sound with your breath pattern. Stay here for as long as you need to, and when you're ready to end off your practice, just bring your hands to the gentle prayer, maybe tapping your thumbs to your nose on the words Namaste. When you're ready to come out, bend your knees, connect the soles of the feet, maybe gently rolling into a fetal position on the side of your body, giving yourself a couple of recovery breaths before gently pushing up into a seated frame before you try standing. Thank you so much for coming out and joining me today. Hope you enjoyed today's class. Give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy. Remember to shoot me your comments below in the comments box. Make sure your notifications for this channel are always on, and be ready for playtime on the mat tomorrow. Till then, keep it light.